Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lessons from the Line. This is Lieutenant Colonel J. Arnold Clamon, and on Lessons from the Line, we interview folks who are former military members, responders, or are currently serving. And our subject is to get people to tell us their history and their insights of while they were serving, why they served, and while they're continuing to serve. And today we have Donny Ingram, who's a good friend of mine. And before we jump into our questions, Donny, give our listeners a little background of who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm 21 years, 7 months with the United States Air Force. Loved it. Had a great time. Learned a whole lot. Most of the things I draw from today, I draw from my military career. Spent some time in the Middle East, a lot of times down in at Central Command down there in MacDill in Tampa, Florida, where you're located now. But I just, my family grew up there. I got 3 sons who grew up with me there. We traveled around. They learned tremendously, especially from all of our travels to the Middle East. We gained a lot about our faith and what our faith really meant in living abroad over there. So it's benefited me tremendously.
Good deal. To catch everybody up, I served 33 years in the Air Force and started out as a A1C and walked out the door as a lieutenant colonel. So I had a wide range of rank in there and positions and so on and so forth. So, excuse me, let's jump into these questions here real quick. And the first one I got for you, Donny, is during your time on the line, what is your biggest takeaway?
I guess my biggest takeaway really is the folks that I was able to work with, the people that mentored me. I was fortunate enough to work with folks like H.T. Johnson, who went on to be the 4-star general in charge of Logistics Command, Norm Herm, and one of the greatest, of course, was Chappie James. Early in his career, of course, he was just a 2-star when I was working with him. But it was great. I worked with some great folks who mentored me. Actually, they got me started back into school to finish my degree. My education there was one of the big takeaways, not just academically, but socially and economically. To build my confidence in what I could do, what my talents and skills were, and that was the biggest takeaway for me, because when I walked away from there, I realized I did have some stuff that the world needed, and began to share that stuff, and one thing led to the other. Is what helped me become a speaker and a trainer and a coach.
Right. Okay.
That's some of the things that I took away from there.
Right. During your time on the line, what is your biggest regret?
I guess not completing my degree early enough and not applying for OCS like they wanted me to. I guess I was having fun doing what I was doing. I was enjoying myself,
Right.
and I really regret retiring early. I should have stayed. And my wife cried when I retired. She didn't want me to retire. She enjoyed it, and I did not. That's one of my biggest things. Is I wish I'd have stayed longer and been able to accomplish more than for the country, for myself, for my family, because my family really enjoyed being in the Air Force.
Right. Well, 21 years is a long time to serve. I mean,
yes, it is. When I went in, I was only planning on spending 4, and of course, 4 turned into 6, 6 turned into 10.
Right.
And by then, no need quitting now.
Right. Well, when I joined, I enlisted for 6 to pay for college, and next thing I knew it, I was at 12, and I'm like, well, might as well stay to 20, and then I turned into 33. So
yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, I'm telling you, it does. It does. And I did. Like I said, everything I do today, I draw most of it from my military career. It taught me tremendously.
Right. Well, the military, if you're willing to, well, I'm sure it is with the police or first responders or even in the medical field. If you're willing to learn and listen and pay attention to what's going on around you, you're going to learn. And you're going to retain stuff that's going to carry you on further in your career once you quit serving in whatever aspect it is.
That's true.
Go ahead.
General Chappie James, one of his things was that the only person holding you back is you. He
exactly.
said, He said, I don't care what your economic status is, what your cultural background is. He said, it is you. You're the only one that can hold you back.
Exactly. And that was one of the things that I told my folks when the day I retired in my speech was the only thing holding you back, keeping you from going higher is you. So
Yep. Yep.
chase your dreams.
That's it.
So
That's it.
yep, during your time on the line, knowing what you know now, what would you have told your younger self?
To take advantage of every opportunity. Sometimes we get in a rut, and we don't we see things that might be interesting, but we don't jump out there because it costs extra, it takes extra time, it takes effort, and we tend not to jump there. So my thing, I would go back and tell myself, take every opportunity available to you, and learn different skills. Be able to do things, and that's another thing that's helped me out is because not only what I learned there, but I did take advantage of a lot of things, but I would take advantage of so much more if I had to do it over again. I would increase my education faster. Instead of waiting until I got out to get my master's, I would get it all while I was there. I'd go all the way to a PhD, because you can never learn too much. And I would say learn from everyone. I learned from the guys I worked with because they had I guess they had something that I wanted, and that was number one was confidence in who they were and what they were doing. They had
Right,
confidence in their skills and their abilities, and I wanted that. I wanted to be that confident, and they helped me get there. But I would take advantage of that more for the folks that I hung around, not just those that I worked for.
right. That makes total sense. And knowing who's around you and what skill sets they have and what knowledge they have, and
Yeah,
if you can dig into that and reach into that, and not everybody's willing to help you, so that's where it comes benefits us to find mentors that are willing to share their knowledge and experience. A lot of times people tend to get that kind of stuff, and then they feel that they've got the power and they want to keep it. So you got to find
yeah,
somebody who's willing to share what they have to help you
yeah.
grow yourself.
And that is so true because so many folks that I worked with was so willing to help me and to give me a leg up. And I mean, they even went as far as to looking for assignments that would benefit me, in my growth,
Right,
and
right,
not only my military career, but in every area of my life. And I just, I appreciated that. I got to speak. I had a good friend I was in the Air Force with, and he passed away about 2 years ago, and they invited me to speak at his funeral. And he was one of those guys who really he helped me see what it was like, what being a husband was like, because I was, we were just new young kids, and he was a little older, and he helped me understand what it meant to be a husband and what it
right,
took to be the right husband, to care and love
right,
your family, and to put your family first, and to provide for them. I mean, it was guys like that, and that really, that really set my life, give me a platform. And actually, they live just like I try to do today. They live with Jesus. I mean,
right, right,
he was the platform. I mean, he was the one that we were to measure everything by. And when they really began to instill that in me, and I just I learned and grabbed everything I could. I wish I'd have grabbed more, but I grabbed what I could, and I've been using it. That's why I'm a coach today, because I enjoyed how they mentored me and helped me, and that's what I want to do for other people. I want to pay it back.
right, right. Well, that's one reason why I'm getting into this podcast here is to help use y'all's knowledge and my knowledge to help pay it back, and hopefully
Yeah,
help people realize that there's more to life than your
absolutely,
4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years of service, whatever it may be. There's more for
absolutely.
you to give.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier in the podcast that you served 21 years. I'm going to kind of tweak this question a little bit.
All right.
Whereas it was how long have you or did you serve in your line of work? My question for you is, what was your longest duty assignment, and what did you enjoy the most about that duty assignment?
I guess my longest was in Tennessee. I was at Arnold Engineering Development Center. Didn't even know it was there, and that was one of the things my mentors told me. You need to be there. You need to see what we do in air and space. And
Mhm.
either part or all of anything that goes in the air or space is tested there. I mean, their test facilities for the engines are 280 feet in the ground, and we tested everything there. But one of the things that helped me there was I also became a recruiter there, and that was one of my most
Ooh,
rewarding jobs that I had in the Air Force. I recruited actually everybody, but I was kind of a specialty guy. I recruited doctors and nurses for a while. Then they wanted me to do pilots because at the time, MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, had the #1 aerospace school in the nation. And there was 5 Air Force colonels that run the thing, and I had free reign to go up and talk and recruit. And I was the, I led the nation on recruiting, pilots and navigators that year. And of
oh,
course,
awesome.
working with high school kids, and one of the things I do today is work with high school kids, who are at the
Right.
college. And that was one of the most rewarding assignments I had, because I was able to help people and help them see what others did, and to be able to take those young folks through and let them see what was at Arnold out there was even greater opportunity, being right there with them, because number one, it's set right in the middle of a 44,000 acre game reserve. and,
Yeah.
and they built a housing area around a 5,000 acre lake, so I mean we
Right.
had my wife and kids thought we lived in a dream world. So
Well, I've
it was
heard of,
but that was one of the
I've,
greatest assignments I had.
right. I've heard of Arnold Air Force Base, but I've never been there. So we're going to be in Tennessee. I may try and seek it
you
out and do
you need to
a
you
quick
need to
drive through.
yes, you need to go see that. It's enormous. It's wonderful,
Now,
wonderful, beautiful place. And they got a beautiful campground there. You're talking about camping, they got a campground on the lake. And as a
okay.
matter of fact, I took my wife and her son and my 2 grandsons up, and we rented a pontoon and went and did some fishing. Spent the week up there. They got a nice lodge right there on the lake.
Okay. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you really get to brag on yourself with this next question. What was your greatest achievement?
Well, I would have to say my education. Not like I said before, not only academically, but being able to learn from some of the folks that's in there. I think I guess one of my greatest achievements was being a #1 recruiter for the Air Force. What they call a silver badge. There's only one gold badge recruiter, but a silver
Right.
badge recruiter meant you were over 150% of your goal. Every year. And that was one of the things that I really drew on, was being able to do that. But one of the other things was being chosen to be on a foreign military sales team. Had no idea we even had anything like that. But when I was at CENTCOM and there in MacDill, I was chosen to go on this team to the Middle East, and I thought that was one of the greatest honors, because there was only 9 of us on the team. I was the youngest guy on the team as
Wow.
far as rank. And of course, we couldn't even, we lived abroad. We didn't have a compound like they do today. There was 9 of us. We lived out on the economy, and
Right.
it was different, But it was probably one of the most rewarding assignments I had, being there in that, and being an Air Force recruiter. Of course, it opened my eyes to what I wanted to do, which was change the lives of other people. Because
Right.
recruiters get a bad rap sometimes,
Yeah, they do.
and I never had one person to come back and say, that didn't enjoy it, didn't say that I told them exactly what was going to happen to them. And
Right.
some of them kept up with me for years. Now, I've lost. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that I recruited went on. He passed me in rank, and he retired about 15 years ago. And but he did phenomenal, and they stayed up with me all through my career. We
Oh,
kind of
wow.
stayed in touch with a lot of those guys. But that was the things that I guess some of my greatest achievements was being chosen to do some specialty things, because I never really had a job like most people. Mine was always kind of weird. My first assignment was at Air Defense Weapons Center there at Tyndall Air Force Base, and working. My job was maintaining flight hours and keeping us in line with flight hours and briefing those flight hours every morning to the wing commander and the base commander, and
Right.
those kind of things, those kind of jobs. And left there and went to Arnold to research. There was only 65 of us at Arnold. in Tennessee there. I mean, at that research development center. I mean, I got to see a different light. As a matter of fact, they started me back. I left the community college in Panama City, and when I got there, they already had it lined up by Colonel Stanley had already programmed them to get me back in school. so they already had to move, and that that's another thing is that those guys took care of me and followed me. General Johnson, who I worked with it, and when I was in Tampa down there, I mean he's endorsed my book, Winning the Battle. He stayed up with me for years. Of course I'm still on Facebook with him, and he's been retired for several years now.
Right. Now, Facebook is a great thing, and it's if you want it to be a great thing, it's easy for you to keep up with people that you've worked with in the past and served with in the past, and get to know new people like that. And so we're running a little long here on our podcast, but I got one final question for you.
Okay.
If you could title your story, what would it be?
I think it would be the title of my book, Winning the Battle, because life is a battle. In my book, I mean, we always having challenges and circumstances and obstacles to overcome. And there's some things that I think if you knew them and knew how to use the tools that we already have up here, it becomes a bigger reward, when you do overcome those things, because I really think that would be my story, is winning the battle, because you got to understand, number one, how you're designed. God made us in such a beautiful way, give us the tools to use in order to get where we need to go. And when we know how to do that, and one of the ways to do that is how we communicate, not just to other people, but to ourselves, and how that sets your attitude, because attitude, again, like Zig Ziglar used to say, attitude, determines your altitude. Not only will it determine where you go, but how fast you get there. And those are some of the things that I put in that book that I think is would benefit other folks, because that was my story, is winning the battle. I won every opportunity I had to overcome. I was able to do it through the knowledge that I gained.
Right. Do you have a copy of your book with you?
I do. I've got one up here. Hang on a sec.
What, Winning the Battle?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, General Johnson, he endorsed the back of it.
Yep. So folks who are watching, if you want to get some more insight into what Donny's life was like, reach out and get that book from him. And I'm sure you can get it at Amazon or wherever.
You can get it on Amazon. You can also get it at my website, DonnyIngram.com. That's Donny with a Y.
There you go. Okay, folks. Well, this is another Lessons from the Line and another insight interview with our friend here, Donny Ingram. And we are going to sign off, and be blessed, everyone. God loves you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a
Thank
blessed
you, sir.
day.
We will see you later.
All right.